Hey there everyone, happy Thursday. I'm King 5 Meteorologist Adam Claibon. A few snowflakes in some lower elevated spots here earlier this morning, but not really too much of an issue with that. And as we head on into the night, we're going to continue to see that the moisture will decrease, especially for those of us in the lowlands and the mountains. I think from Snoqualmie Pass northward, or really more so from Stevens Pass northward, we're going to see a gradual decrease in that snow as we head into early tomorrow morning. And Friday looks to be overall a pretty dry day for us before we get back to more active weather heading on into the weekend. A warmer air mass, though, probably not going to be good news for the fresh snow that we just got, because that means higher snow levels, and we'll get into that here in just a bit. But first, let's talk about the snow we've seen here so far, and this is from early here into the day. These reports showing close to 2 to 3 feet of snow so far. Again, we haven't gotten the complete totals for Thursday yet, so we'll see how that shapes up as we head on into the evening tonight and as we go on into the day tomorrow, as we get some new reports there. But it's been a good snow producer, and this week has been really great for it, replenishing some of the snowpack that has been low. And well, the weekend is going to be a much different story, because snow levels get back up to above pass level, 5,500 feet by Saturday, and then all the way up to 9,000 feet heading on into next Tuesday. And that will mean some snow melt going to be happening, especially with some showers coming on through, or at least some systems coming through, more rain in the mountains than snow. Here's a look at the forecast. We're calling for temperatures to make their way into the upper 40s starting tomorrow. We'll be around that 50-degree mark for the next few days, getting all the way up to the mid-50s by Tuesday. Check that out. That's going to be at 55 degrees. Should be a pretty mild day, and then a slight cool down, but a drier pattern heading on into the second half of next work week. Snoqualmie Pass, things looking okay as far as travel is concerned. Snow beginning to let up there, and it's nice to see all this fresh snow up this way around Paradise. It's been a big improvement here over the past few days from what we had just a few days ago. And then looking at your Bellingham camera, you can see cloudy skies, a few light showers here and there. Any snowflakes that we're seeing here around Whatcom County, a little farther south across Whatcom County, there's a little patch on I-5. We're going to show you that here in a bit. That had a little bit of a chance of seeing some snowflakes, but again, nothing too widespread, and temperatures were above freezing, so no worries there. Tacoma, cloudy skies for us, a sprinkle or two possible here as we head into the evening and into the night, and the same could be said for us here in Seattle, although I think we are going to keep things fairly dry. Sitting in the mid-40s, winds coming out of the south at 16 miles per hour will add that chill to the air, so make sure to have something warm before you head out the door. Throughout tonight, we're going to call for generally cloudy conditions and temperatures that won't budge a whole lot. We'll stay around those low to mid-40s in a lot of locations. Here are your current temperatures right now. You can see the passes in the upper 20s and lower 30s, so cooler than that freezing point. But most of us, not all of us now, above the 40s now. We're above that 40-degree mark, which puts us safely away from any sort of frozen precipitation at all here in the lowlands. Let's take a look at radar, and it does kind of look a little interesting, especially once you head north of I-90 here into northern King County and heading up into Snohomish and Skagit County. But whatever was there has now disappeared, and we've warmed up. And again, that spot I was telling you about right here across northern Skagit County into southern Whatcom County, that was the area right there along I-5 that if we were going to see anything here throughout earlier today, it was going to be right there. A few snowflakes mixing on in, but again, things have warmed up and a lot of moisture is beginning to die off too. We're not completely done with it, and if we are going to see more showers here into the night, it'll be generally up that way. A few light showers farther south across more Whatcom, or more across Lewis County and Thurston County and down across parts of the south coast as well. Big picture is that system now is beginning to head off to the east. We got another one that's developing out across the Pacific, and this area of high pressure right here, we were kind of anticipating it to gather a bit more strength and have a bit more of a hold on the area than what now is shaping up to be the case for us. That was supposed to keep things pretty dry as we head into the weekend and the start of next work week. Not going to be the case. We have the system out over the Pacific that will be around, and that will still make its way here more directly right overhead for us again. And we could be talking about a decent amount of rain for some parts here as we head on into the next 3 to 4, possibly 5 days. This will be a weaker to moderate atmospheric river that will be heading our way, and I don't want to alarm any of you right now. It doesn't look like we're dealing with much in terms of any sort of flooding issues as of right now. Something we'll monitor for sure, because of course with that snow melt that we're going to have, that will allow some of our rivers, our streams, and our creeks, those water levels to rise. But for the time being, it looks like we are going to keep that to a minimum in terms of any sort of flooding. But of course, we'll monitor it here over the next day or so. Let's first talk about the next 24 hours and how things will start to dry out. Snow across the mountains beginning to pivot farther to the north. You'll see that many spots really north of Snoqualmie Pass will be the ones getting impacted by the snow. Another little wave of moisture coming through to help to enhance some of the rainfall across more of Clallam County and over towards northwest interior. That'll keep things going all the way into tomorrow morning. That's 6 o'clock for you, and then gradually drying out through the course of the remainder of the day. That's 1 p.m. We're pretty much done with all the precipitation at that point. And we continue on into tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Most of us very dry. Now let's go on into Saturday, because this is going to be the day that we start to see this next system arriving. And as opposed to what we saw with the previous system, the one that came in more from the northwest, it was coming in from more out of the Gulf of Alaska, coming in more of this direction right here. Well, that's not going to be the case with this one currently. We're actually going to see it coming more so from more of the west and the southwest. So that will mean that with more of this orientation to the flow, we're going to get some warmer air in place, and those snow levels are going to be higher as it comes on through. As I continue to advance this, you'll see that here we are Saturday afternoon at 1 to 2 o'clock, and where we would typically see, at least with this week, snow across the Olympics, there's just a little small patch of it right there across parts of the higher tops right there in the Olympics. Not nearly as much snow as what we were seeing earlier into the week. So definitely some moderate to heavier rain that eventually works its way off to the east, and you'll see that some of this band will start to break apart, not hold together as much, but it will continue to be around. That will continue to supply us with more of that moisture, and this is not an exact depiction either of how this is exactly going to play out. We will see some ebbs and some flows of some heavier moisture, some heavier downpours, and depending on where exactly that does shape up and where it does track, we could be seeing some pretty high totals here within some of this rainfall. For the time being, we're keeping a lot of that out towards the coast and more of the Olympic Peninsula. But as we continue on, that Sunday morning at 6 o'clock, you can see that moving on through. Maybe getting a little more snow across the mountains, but definitely seeing that things are a bit different at that point, and definitely not seeing as much snow with it. There Sunday, you can see that line of moisture is right over us, so we're going to keep it going right then and there, heading up here across western Washington. That's going to be into Sunday afternoon. That's 6:30, or Sunday evening, really. You're still noticing quite a bit of that rain in place. We get another wave of moisture that comes on through. Here we are at Monday morning at 6 o'clock, and yeah, there's still more moisture, and that extends all the way back here as well. So it just keeps on working its way across parts of western Washington, and then eventually it starts to lift northward with that ridge of high pressure really beginning to gain control, strengthen, and at that point too, we'll expect that to really nudge a lot of the active weather out of our region. And maybe a drier stretch of weather for us as we head into the second half of next work week and into the following weekend. But you can see it definitely changes up a bit with our pattern as we head on into that time. And we really don't see much in terms of active weather for quite some time. There's Thursday of next week. We continue on into Friday and just really more of the same. And then you continue on into Saturday and it's Sunday, the weekend. There's a lot of dry weather here over the West Coast at that point. So let's talk rainfall totals and what we're expecting. Right now, looks like we'll get a decent amount of some rain shadowing, so that might limit some of the rain that we have here in the lowlands. You can see some of the lower amounts there, near if not less than a half an inch around areas such as Camano and Whidbey Island. You get across parts of Puget Sound. I think anywhere between a quarter to a half an inch will be expected there, and for the time being, it looks like between about a half an inch to an inch or more for areas near and south of Olympia. The big spots that are going to be hit with a lot of this rain will be out here towards more of the north coast of the Olympic Peninsula. That's where we could see 1 to 2, possibly 3+ inches of rain, and then you can see a decent amount of water coming down across more of the North Cascades, between about 1 to 2+ inches of precipitation. All of this, again, not going to fall in the form of rain, but it will be high enough that we're talking about a lot of it around our passes coming down in the form of liquid. Forecast tonight, though, we're going to see 30s and 40s for those overnight lows, and then highs tomorrow will start to work their way back up near the 50-degree mark. 47 at Orcas Island, 48 in Mount Vernon, up around the upper 40s in Oak Harbor, in Coopville, Clinton up to 49. Just shy of 50 there in Arlington. Shoreline at 48 degrees will hit 50 around Redmond and in Renton. Enumclaw topping off at 50 degrees. Issaquah up to 49. Over towards Kingston, a high of 49 degrees. Lower 50s around Tacoma and in Puyallup, a high of 50 around Olympia. Farther south, more of the same really, with 50s, better chances of those actually out towards the coast, and then up this way around more Forks and Claylock, upper 40s there with a high of 47 in Sequim, and Quilcene topping off at 49 degrees. Here's your 7-day forecast. Going to be trending quite a bit warmer and, yes, more wet weather to come too as we head on into the weekend. And with the higher snow levels, we're still going to keep an eye out for things as we head on into this upcoming weekend for maybe some minor flooding that might show up in some of our rivers. So definitely don't want to have to go through anything like what we did back in December. But for right now, that does not look like it is going to be the case. So again, don't want to alarm you for anything that might happen of that nature. But if you are tired of the chillier weather, it looks like it's going to be gone, and we're going to get those highs back up into the 50s, at least for a little while, and drier weather for those of you wanting to see more of the sunshine later on into next week. Okay, everyone, have a tremendous Thursday night, and we'll talk to you soon.